Were you always, as a child, attracted to the performing arts? You narrate multiple genres.
Hmm.
Do you have any preferred genre? Mm, you know what? I like you, Cary Hite. I like you. I really do. I really do. Hello and welcome to the Mic'd Up Podcast. My name is Kaya. I am an author, a podcaster, an entrepreneur, and I'm excited today to bring on someone who is a true multi-hyphenate person. He is a narrator, an actor, a director, a voice coach. He is everything. He is a renaissance man. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Cary Hite. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. And I just want to note where I actually met Cary. I met him at the Black Romance Book Festival in Atlanta this past May, June-ish. So that's where I met him. So now we're doing the podcast and I'm ready to dig into your Q&A because you have a lot going on. So my first question is I always want to get into the background of a person. And when I was going through your bio and your all the links you have in your bio and your background, I noticed that you do, like I said, you act. Were you always as a child attracted to the performing arts?
Oh, it's a great question. Yes, but no.
Hmm.
Yes, in terms of viewing it, I had favorite TV shows like we all did, and in movies, I really loved movies. But it was a world that was so far removed from my reality that I never thought that I would be a part of it.
What were some of your favorite TV shows back then and
Hmm.
movies?
Uh, well, my favorite of all time is Coming to America. I
Coming
think,
to America?
oh yeah, for me, that's a perfect movie. I love that movie. That was a big one. I love A Different World,
Mm,
Living Single. Like these are my shows.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what attracted you to the performing arts?
Um, you know, the very first time I did a play, I was in college. And in every friend group, you have the one friend who everyone calls for advice or some sort of therapy type situation. That's who I was. And after I did that first play, after the first show, well, actually after the third show, I saw some people that come multiple times, and they talked about how the play affected them and their experiences and how they related to it. And in that way, I saw that they were getting therapy through this medium. And that's the thing that ultimately attracted me to it.
Oh,
I
okay.
felt like I was helping people through that.
Did you also feel like you were helping yourself?
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, dealing, and it's, I was very fortunate because of the stories I got to work on very early on. The first show that I did was August Wilson's Fences. And at that time, like I said, I didn't grow up as an arts kid. Um, so I didn't know who he was.
Right.
But then I did a deep dive, and I he's been widely recognized or called our generation's like our Black Shakespeare. But he's August Wilson.
Right.
He's his own entity. And so I really dug into all his works and his century cycle, 10 plays that highlight subject matter from each decade of the Black experience in America.
Hmm.
So then it became my mission to try to do as many of those plays as possible. So far, I've done three, four,
Three.
three, yeah.
Okay. Now, what age were you? You said you did a play early on. Like, how old were you when that happened around?
Oh, I was in my young 20s when I first started.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I got into it later than most. At this point, people have been acting since they were 7, 8.
Right.
Yeah, but no, but I took to it immediately. So I grew up in New York, and during that time period, it was an era in which we widely recognized as us not truly having a childhood. So we were living like little adults from a
Mm.
very early age. So I got to see a lot of life early on. So I was just performing based on my own life experiences, what I've seen, what I've personally experienced.
At that time, you said you started in your 20s.
Mhm.
Before then, like while you were figuring out that's what you wanted to do, did you see yourself doing anything else, like being in any other type of career outside of the performing arts?
Sure. So I ended up studying broadcast journalism. So the goal was to get to ESPN, be
Oh,
a sports journalist. Yeah,
gotcha.
and it was an interesting fork in the road I reached because by the time I graduated, um, my mentor had just gotten a job with ESPN. So his agent, he offered to send my tape to his agent to just get me a meeting, get me a foot in the door. But at the same time, I was offered a role in a national touring play.
Oh, wow.
So the conversation we had was, you have to choose one and do both. And I went the acting.
You chose, okay. And I can only assume you're very happy with the choice that you made.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So if you wanted, I'm veering off a little bit. So you wanted to get into ESPN, into sports. So who's your team? Like who are your teams right now?
Oh, I am Knicks, Mets, Giants.
Oh, New York, all New
Oh
York,
yeah,
all
oh yeah,
gotta
oh
be.
yeah.
Gotta. That was a dumb question. See, I'm from Jersey. Originally, I'm
uh,
from Jersey, so we're like the Eagles and the 76.
I hear you.
Oh,
I
oh,
hear you. I hear you.
oh.
You see me? That was a
Okay.
real reaction. I'm like, okay, I hear
I can
you.
have the
I
same
mean, even
reaction to
though
you. I'm just saying. I'm
I
just
can't,
saying.
I am wearing Eagles colors right now. So here
Mm,
you go. I
hmm
subconsciously did this for you.
I I see. I see where we were in tune. You must have known. You must have known. So let me pivot real quick to your performing arts. It's still in the same wheelhouse, if you will. How did you initially get into audiobook narration? How did that happen for you?
Okay, so I was freelancing with an agent at the time, and my strategy was to call her every Wednesday, like midweek, just to see if it, because auditions would come maybe early in the week or maybe that day. So I would call her first thing as soon as I woke up. And so I called her one particular Wednesday morning, and as soon as she answered the phone, she said, "Oh, you have a good voice. Here, I'm going to send you an audition for Audible." So I said, "Okay." So she sent me audition scripts. I went over them. I went to the audition. Now, at that time, I had just started suffering with allergies, seasonal allergies, for the first time in my life. So I
Mm.
didn't really know how to navigate that. So to me, I sounded terrible. I sounded like Kermit the Frog.
Mm.
But within the audition scripts, um, there was one book called From Slave Ship to Freedom Road.
Okay.
And there were three African characters. They just had one line apiece, and they were on the ship, and they were having dialogue amongst each other, and it was in English. But again, they were being kidnapped from Africa and brought here. So in my mind, I felt like even though this is English, they should at least still have an African accent. And so right before the audition, that's the question I asked. I said, "Do you want this with an African accent, or do you just want it plain?" And then the two auditioners looked at each other as if no one had asked that question before. Clearly, they hadn't. And so they asked me if I could do one. And I said, "Well, yeah." And I went in and I did it. And then I ended up, I ultimately booked not only that job, but then six other jobs at that same time.
Wow.
And then that got me on their radar. And then I had continued on with them since. Yeah.
Wow. So before then, no one has ever told you, you have a good voice for voice work. No one ever mentioned that to you?
Oh, I have heard it. And I had made attempts, but that was the first time I was with a company, well, as well known and as sizable as Audible, and they're the ones who gave me my first shot. So yeah,
Okay. How long ago was that? What year was that?
that was 2007.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you've been in the game for a
Oh yeah.
minute.
I've been.
Okay, I didn't know it had been that long. So
Oh yeah.
obviously, since the first time that you've done an audiobook, you have grown as a voice actor. Are you able to pinpoint some of the ways you have grown since that first audiobook until like your most current projects, as far as like, were you confident back then in your abilities, or did you use like, this is just what you're going to get?
Well, I walk in with confidence. I hear the term "fake it till you make it" a lot. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say I was faking it because I was putting everything I had into it. But I, I believe in failing at 100 miles an hour
Mm,
because that's the only way you learn where you need to get better. So I just went in full steam ahead, and then I let them guide me. I was so thankful because those first sessions they were all directed, and so and it doesn't take me long to pick up on things. You don't have to tell me things many times. Tell me once, and then I'll get it, and then I'll go from there.
got
So I had someone who was really invested um, in me being good. As a matter of fact, he was a producer director, and he had been in the game for a long time. And I just remember we had taken a break, and he was like, "Come outside with me." And we were recording at that time in Midtown Manhattan, right across the street from Madison Square Garden. So we're out on 7th Avenue, and he was smoking a cig, and he was like, "Listen, you could do this. You could make this a career for yourself.
it. Hmm.
Um, you really like lock in, focus, get some training, coaching. You could make this a career for yourself." And I didn't even truly consider that, but at the time, I realized I'm still acting. It's
Yeah,
just I'm acting on a microphone.
right.
Um, so I took what he said to heart, and I thank him to this day for that conversation because um, this was an avenue that I didn't even know that I could go down at
Mm,
all. I hadn't even really known about audiobooks like that until I
right.
was in a car ride one time and someone threw on an audiobook. They threw on a Harry Potter book, as a matter of fact.
Hmm.
And I just remember I was like, you want me to go to sleep? But then I just listened to the voice actor. His name is Jim Dale. And he was amazing.
Mm,
He was doing all the voices, and I was so locked in. I was so locked in um, that when that first CD ended, I was searching around for the next one because I had to continue listening. I had to, and I thought to myself that day, I want to do this one day. Fast forward about 5 years later, I'm in the studio in Midtown Manhattan, and I'm working with the producer. I'm having lunch and with a couple of other narrators, and then after lunch was done, he said, "Oh man, I meant to introduce you to the guy who did the Harry Potter books, Jim Dale."
oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, "Are you kidding?" I said, "I have a story to tell him." So then I ended up telling him the story. It was funny. It was great, dude. But yeah, it was very serendipitous.
Yeah, that's a really nice full circle moment for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That's
yeah. And
awesome.
it just let me know I was on the right path. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this. So I was looking at your catalog on Audible. That thing run deep. That catalog run deep. Now I didn't know you've been in it since 2007. I can't even say 2007, 2007. I didn't know. But I
Oh
know
yeah.
your catalog is very extensive, and you narrate multiple genres.
Hmm.
Do you have any preferred genre?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my favorite genre is whichever story I feel needs to be told,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my genre of the moment.
Okay, I
Um, but
gotcha.
but I will say that I have done quite a few biographies,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I find people fascinating. So to learn someone's story, their journey, especially if they've been of service to others
Right.
in life, I really enjoy doing those stories. And then also histories, especially the history of our existence in this country. Those stories are very important, especially when they're written by people who are interested in telling the truth and not a fabricated narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So even though those stories are difficult because we're dealing with a wealth of trauma, but those stories have to be told. So I always say difficult but necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then I also get uh, to switch gears, do some YA, some young adult, do some romance.
I've
Uh,
seen. I've
yeah,
seen.
yeah. So I get to do other things. So it's just not like I'm stuck in a particular space and I'm only doing trauma. you know,
Right.
you
Now,
know.
do you narrate multiple projects in different genres at a time? You know what I mean? Like, do you have like
Yeah,
a biography here, a romance here, a YA here? Do you do that?
I do.
How? How do you how do you stay in the space? Because I can imagine that each of those requires a different part of you to pull from. And
Sure.
if you're going, back and forth, like how do you prepare for that?
Um,
Is it difficult for you?
here's here's how I put it. You know how you in your friend group, you know who each of your friends are.
Hmm.
This one's the loud one. This one's the shy one. This one is, the one you're gonna have to take care of at the end of the night because they got a little bit too saucy. You know who everybody is, so you know how to approach them. You know what's going to set them off. You know what's going to calm them down. You already know these things. So I approach each genre the same way. Now the stories may take me in different directions, but I've been doing this for quite a bit, so I know what each genre requires, and then
Yeah.
it's just focusing on the story at hand. What am I? How am I advancing the author's words and bringing these characters to life?
Right.
And
That
that's it.
that's like the perfect analogy. That I understand that completely. What do you feel is the most rewarding part of what you do? Like you just mentioned like telling our stories is important to you. Is that the most rewarding part of it, you think?
Yes, absolutely. Um, because think about how many ways they're eradicating us from history, how they're changing the narratives of how we got over here, um, how they depict us in the news all the time. That's the longest running um, propaganda machine that we've had in this country. I mean, either in print or on television, they depict us in these uh, the light of savagery,
Right.
uh, that we're always coming from a deficit, and they have us believe that our history begins at slavery,
Right.
at enslavement, which
It's not true.
right. So yeah, that's what continues to fuel me, and that's why even though um, many of these stories are difficult, but I'm built for it because I'm going to tell you the truth.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let me pivot a little bit into narrating romance. I am a romance author. I
Hmm.
met you at the Black Romance Book Festival. So it's all things romance around this way. And I gotta ask these questions because these are the questions that people really want to know when it comes to y'all narrating romance books. So the most popular question I get, how do you prepare for more intimate scenes
Hmm.
when you're narrating?
Prepare like what? What do you mean?
Like, you have this scene that you have to narrate. Is there like, do you listen to music or you like watch a movie, or how do you get your mind there, or you just
No,
on and you just go ahead and do it?
I'm in the story. The story itself is the movie. So I don't need inspiration from something else. I already have the inspiration right in front of me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, have you been surprised by anything that you have encountered in one of those types of scenes? Like, oh, wow, that's a little out of here. You know what I mean? Like, have you?
Uh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's been some times I'm like, oh, come on now, for real. Yeah, especially when you do like paranormal romances.
I can imagine.
I've been aliens, I've been vampires, I've been werewolves. I just did 3 series in a row where I was alpha in some werewolf pack, and
Right.
so and I was just an alien who was stranded on Earth who finds love here. So, yeah, it's a lot. Um, and different things work in different ways because you are of a different species, and so that's always interesting. Um, yeah. So, but at this point now, I would say very little surprises me,
Hmm.
but I'm just like, oh, that's different. Okay, all right.
Right. You just roll
Uh,
with the punches.
let's go. Let's keep flowing. Yeah,
I gotcha. I
yeah.
gotcha. I had to ask because
No, of
those
course.
those questions often come up when it comes to
Yeah.
uh narrating romance. So let me ask you this, kind of circling back to the beginning of our conversation,
Hmm.
and we were talking about your acting. Do you consider acting, like, as far as not voice work, but acting on stage or acting in film, do you
Hmm.
consider that your first love?
Hmm. You know, so when when the pandemic first hit, um, and they shut down theaters, and they were no longer doing on camera
Hmm.
filming, you only had voice, right?
Right,
Um, but that's only 1/3 of what I do. So
right.
I did feel the absence of those 2 other things that were no longer an option at that time, um, because each discipline feeds me in a different way, um,
Mm,
and it's storytelling, but storytelling in different ways, different mediums. So um, you bring stories to life in a somewhat different way. Uh, so each one is important. Like I don't put one above any other. Uh, they all feed me in different ways,
right.
and I love them all. Like it's equal. It's like when people say I don't have a favorite kid, but like seriously, in this instance, I really don't. It's just like what to me the biggest thing is what is the story that I'm telling?
Right.
What story am I a part of? And how do I serve this story best?
Okay. Now, well, not obviously, I don't know this for sure, but are you able to do all three of your passions, like, within the same time period? Are you able to, you know what I mean? Have a book, have
I
a
do, I
play.
do.
Are you
So
able?
yeah, there's times where I'll do regional theater, so I have to go out on the road. So I'll be in a different state, and every state I go to, um, one of the first things I do is look for studios, for a studio space, because I'll still then continue to take on audiobook books. I'll fit it in.
Hmm.
There's 24 hours in a day.
Right.
I will work. I will figure it out. I'll figure it out, make it happen.
Okay. So on the downside of everything that you do that you love to do that feeds you in different ways, I'm sure you stay full these days, being fed by all your passions.
Yes.
What do you do on your downtime? How do you decompress from your life?
Downtime. Huh. It's an
Is that a
interesting
foreign
word.
concept right now for you?
It's an interesting word. I don't, yeah, it is. I, the thing is, I love what I do. So
Okay.
this is like, why would you want to get away from the things that you love? You know what I mean?
Not necessarily get away from it, but what do you personally enjoy outside of these things? Like, is it, I don't know, travel or,
I do.
okay,
But also with that, um, a lot of the travel I do is in conjunction for something. Like, for instance, going to the Black Romance Book Festival.
right,
You know, I got to go down to Atlanta. And I got
right.
to see Atlanta in a way that I hadn't seen it previously, based on on the location of where the festival was. I really appreciated that because during the downtime of that festival, I was out, sitting in restaurants, I was going places, meeting people. So my work is also a vehicle for other interests such as travel, such as food. I love
Gotcha.
food. I'm in a restaurant right now that I'm trying not to eat on camera, but um, and then meeting new people and having interesting conversations with folks. Like I told you before, I find people fascinating. Um, so yeah, like my work feeds everything else that brings me to life. So they work hand in hand.
I like that. I like that. Um, Piggybacking off the Black Romance Book Fest, how was your experience there? I, for one, had a fantastic time. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot going on, as you know. It was a lot going on,
It
but it was
was.
in the best way. How was your experience?
It was beautifully black. I remember walking into that conference room where all the tables were set up for all the authors and narrators, and just walking through the throngs of people, um, to see how we show up for each other.
Yeah,
That was, I just remember being filled with pride. That's it. So I didn't, you know, I was
it
there
was.
representing myself and representing myself, representing the authors for whom I narrated their books, and obviously, advancing my brand and the things that I do. But really, being in that space around all that beautiful black energy is the thing that filled me up. So uh, it wouldn't have mattered if no one stopped by my table. I'm
Yeah,
being honest. I just being in that space
it
was
was
everything.
something.
It
Yeah,
was everything.
it
Yeah,
was something. It was just like when I didn't stay on the property, but every time I left there and I had to come back, but when I left, I just was still buzzing from all that energy. It was like it was so much to take in the
yeah.
best way.
For sure.
I just I think that was the biggest book event that I had been to. And it was fantastic. I don't know if you're going to go next year. I know they're still announcing people for next year, but hopefully I'll be there next year. Hopefully you'll be there next year. We'll see what happens
See what happens.
with that. But let me ask you this. What would you consider your most dream project? It doesn't have to be narration or directing or acting? It could be either any one of those things. What would be your dream project? What would you say, if I could do this, this would be it?
Um, you know, there are like plays, perhaps.
Mm,
There's big books. Obviously, there's movie franchises and all that. But honestly, just like the next project that I say yes to is the dream. Because if I'm saying yes, that means I'm fully committed to this, and I'm putting my all into that. And then once that's done, then I have space for the next dream to come true. So yeah.
mm, mm. You know what? I like you, Cary Hite. I like you. I really do. I really do.
I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap you up here as far as the Q&A. Where in next year, because it's become clear over this conversation that this is, you love what you do what you love. Every project you get is a gift. You put your all into it. You're committed to it. Like this is your life. And I so respect that. I guess it's kind of hard to ask this question, but I'm gonna ask, where do you see yourself in the next year with everything you're doing?
Um, oof, wow. Yeah. Considering today's social climate,
Huh,
that's a loaded question.
that, you know what? That part.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm considering a few things
Hmm.
currently. Um, uh, but let's just say all things considered, and I'm still here. Uh, Continuing to deepen the relationships with people I've worked with already, and forming new relationships, because I've worked with all the big box publishers and all that, but there's still a wealth of independent producers and authors who I haven't met, who haven't met me, and
Right, right.
there's opportunities for us to get to know each other, and maybe they haven't written it yet, but by the time this time next year, they have written their first book or their 50th book, and this is the one they really want to get out there. Then I have the opportunity to be able to put voice to that. So yeah, I see. For me, it's continuing to show up for myself. I think
Okay.
that's one of the biggest things I tell people. You may not want to go to that event. You may not want to do this or that, but you gotta, if this is what you're committed to, you have to continue to show up for yourself and put yourself in these spaces where you say you want to be. And if you ultimately
Right,
want to be there, then you have to show up.
right. Okay.
We got to do the hard things in order to do the things we love.
Yes. Yes, you got to do what you don't. To me, I say you got to do what you don't want to do the things that you want to do. That is just one of the things I always have to remind myself of. Like you
Yeah,
gotta, you gotta work before you eat. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's the way I look at things. So
Hmm.
before we get on to the last part of the podcast, I do want to remind people, I said at the top of the podcast, that you do voice work coaching as well.
Hmm.
All right. So if anyone is interested in having a coach for narration, you do it for like beginners and just everybody of
Hmm.
all levels. How can
Hmm.
people get in contact with you if they're interested in that?
Well, my website, caryhite.com, there's a contact sheet on there, and they can hit me up through there, and then I'll get back to them within 48 hours.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, that is great.
They can
So,
also hit me up on Instagram. I've had people do that. I've had people DM me on Instagram. It works. I
yes,
mean, you
you're
know,
extremely responsive. He is very
yeah,
responsive, y'all. So if y'all hit
yeah,
him, he's gonna hit you back for
yeah.
sure. All right, so that was my last question I have for you, and I'm going to get you up out of here. But in true Kaya fashion, the true mic'd up fashion. I want to play a little game with you, and I'm going to abbreviate it because I understand time is of the essence, but I got to do this with you. I
Let's
have a
go.
game here called Urban Trivia. I don't know if you've ever seen it,
No,
if you ever played it.
no.
It is questions about movies, music, black cultures, multiple choice. And I'm gonna ask you, let's see if you can just get three. I think three is a fair number if you can get three right.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know. Some of these you could tell, like some of them are age. You could tell someone's age if they know it. So I don't ever want to assume anyone's age. So we'll just
Sure.
see how you feel about this. All right, let me get started. Okay. First question. Uh-oh. What state is the show P Valley set in? Is it A, Mississippi, B, Georgia, C, Texas, or D, Florida?
Georgia.
No, it's actually Mississippi. Do you ever
Is it
watch that
Mississippi?
show?
I have not.
Me either. So
No.
I didn't know
It
that
sounded
one
like it would be
either.
in Georgia. No, I've never seen the show.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Hennessy is what type of liquor? Is it A, vodka, B, whiskey, C, cognac, or D, gin?
It's that yak, baby.
Is that yak?
Cognac.
Cognac. Okay, that's one. All right. According to the show Atlanta, what was rapper Drake's nationality? You ever watch Atlanta?
I've missed the last two seasons, but the first two
Okay, let
seasons
me
I got.
let me give you your options. Is A, Mexican, B, Canadian, C, American, or D, Panamanian?
Mexican.
Yep, it's Mexican. I can see you just guessed that one.
I
So
was
let
like,
me give you one
they would
more.
say Mexican.
That seemed like an Atlanta thing. Okay. An Atlanta show thing, that is. I'll give
Right,
you this
right.
last one. Now this is black culture. This
Oh,
is
okay.
everybody. You should know the
All
answer
right.
to this
I better
question.
get this. I better get this one then.
No, you gonna know. You got to know this one, Mr. Cary. You gotta know. You gotta know it. Okay. If
Okay.
you open the fridge in a black household and see a country crock butter container,
Mm-hmm.
what is more likely inside? Is it A, butter, B, spaghetti, C, greens, or D, ain't no telling?
Ain't no telling.
Ain't no telling. That's
Ain't no telling.
that is the answer. You see, you did good. You did good. You did good. So we have come to the end of the podcast. Are there any
Okay.
parting words you would like to say before we get out of here?
I just want to say that this has been such a pleasure to do this. And I mean, unfortunately, I had to skip early, but I'm glad we were able to fit this in. I'm like, damn, I really want to keep this going, but no, this is great, and it's so encouraging because now that we've had this conversation, you're on my radar for all of your future works. I can't wait to see what you produce, and if I can be a part of your next great
Be a part of my
work.
catalog.
Yeah, be a part of your next great work. Yeah.
I have a list of people that is on my wish list. If you look back in your DMs, this is real talk. Look back in your DMs. I reached out to you a while, like years ago, for a project.
Really?
Years ago. Maybe,
Okay.
and you are responsive, but you know how sometimes on Instagram your messages go to that folder that nobody ever checks.
Right.
So I can
Yeah, I
only
didn't even know
assume
about
that's
that.
what,
Yeah.
but I did reach out to you. So you're definitely on my list of people that I
Hey.
would like to work with in the future.
Yeah.
So definitely don't even worry
Yeah.
about that. I got
Say
you.
one more thing. I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
Because a lot of times people hesitate. They know that they want to do something. They have an idea they want to do something, but they hesitate. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to ask. I would just say, do yourself a favor. You just have to go, you just have to find one person. You just have to go to one event. You know, and then ask the questions. You have
Yes.
to show up for yourself and put yourself out there. There's something you truly want to do. Do yourself a favor and give yourself a chance to do it.
Yes.
And the only way you do that is if you show up. So like, don't wait. The time is now. And it
Yes.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. Like, start right now. Everybody
Yes.
has a starting point.
Yes.
Everybody has a starting point. Start now.
I agree.
And to do it. Yeah.
100%. I 100% agree. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.